After such an incredible season 1 on the end of the effing world, yes, we will keep it PG on this review. We are back with season 2. Was it necessary? Does it live up to the hype of season 1? And do we maybe need a season 3? We'll talk about that and much more. The end of the effing world, season 2 follows the story of Alyssa after the events of season 1, and we're introduced to a brand new interesting character by the name of Bonnie. Hey everybody, Elliot here today to share with you all my thoughts on the new season of the end of the effing world. Definitely, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with our content. We're so close to 800 subscribers. Help us get over that hump. And if you, like me, have seen the new season of the end of the effing world, I want to know what you all thought of the season in the comment section. So let's have some fun dialogue there. Now, warning, this will be some spoilers in this review. So if you haven't seen the latest season, definitely come back and let me know what you all thought of it. So before we get into season 2, let's rewind to talk about season 1. I absolutely love season 1 of this show. I didn't watch it immediately. It wasn't, oddly enough, it wasn't around this same time last year that I didn't see season 1, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I loved the first couple episodes, meeting their, the tragic stories and these backgrounds of these characters, and it wasn't until episode 3 when I'm just like, this show is bananas, after we see Alyssa and James and the whole thing that happened with Professor Clive, and since then, hooked on the show. And before season 2, I recently rewatched season 1 for the first time since I saw it last year, and the magic's still there. So jumping into season 2, was it necessary? I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed this season. Not as much as season 1, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but let's get into the actual overall thoughts and the episodes and the pros and cons. So episode 1 starts off with a little bit of a hot button for me, or a hot take, where it introduces Bonnie. The episode was solely focused on Bonnie, which I'm still processing. I just finished it about an hour ago. I don't know if I would have preferred them to introduce us to our favorite characters, Alyssa and James. Like, I don't know if it would have been better to show us Alyssa's story the way they did, inject James into the story, and then show someone else watching them, and then show Bonnie's story. So having her be like episode maybe 2 or 3. But we got the way, they presented it the way they did, and then, it is what it is. I'm going to watch it again because Morgan hasn't seen it yet. And it's such an easy breeze, right, as far as the streaming goes. 22-minute episodes, 8 episodes all together. So quick of a binge, and an enjoyable binge. But we meet Bonnie. We see her tragic, kind of her backstory and how she was raised by her mom being abusive and being really hard on her and pushing her dad out of the house and all that. And we see that she gets a job at the university. And that's where the season kind of gets us on the hook. That's where we meet Bonnie, and we see that she is a friend or a girlfriend of Professor Clive. When he walks into that room, it's just like, oh, this is how they tie everything together, or how they're going to introduce her, and how she has connections to James and Alyssa. So we see that play out. We see that he is kind of playing with her mind, he thinks he loves her, and she sees the other girl from the university as he takes advantage of her, and she assumes that, as he told her, that she's trying to destroy his career. She takes it upon herself to punish her, as her mom taught her as a kid, and runs her over. I don't know if it's said that she died or she was just badly injured, but the moral of the story is she went to jail for, I assume, many, many years, because as the story kind of picks up, we see that she's been sending him letters, and the one letter that she sent him recently within the story, that's when Alyssa and James breaks to the house, and everything ties up that way. So she's on a mission. Her main mission, the main plot pretty much for this season for Bonnie's character, is to kill Alyssa and James for killing her boyfriend. So as we got that A story, and I want to say A story, but as we get that one plot line, then we get our favorite characters, right? We get Alyssa, starting her off in the season 2, episode 2. We see that she's looking for something. She's dead inside after everything that happened in season 1, and James and her dad and everything that we find out. We see that she's off now. Her mom has left Tony, which, by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, did they address what happened to the twins? Did Tony take the twins, or did we just not see him at all this season? Let me know in the comments. I might have missed that line, but the mom leaves Tony. We see that he leaves her, actually, and they just decide to leave, and then they go to a cabin where her mom, Alyssa's mom, has her stepsister there, and they live with her. Alyssa has a job at the diner. She meets Todd, which I'll just jump right into it. I feel so bad for Todd, right? By the end of the season, we see that he's going to build her a house and really loved her. Yes, he wasn't the smartest guy, but it seemed like he really loved Alyssa and really wanted to be with her. But anyway, she meets Todd, she asks to marry him. He says yes because he loves Alyssa, and they get married. And then that's where we get injected with the James story, and we see that his story, which is so tragic to me. And then I'm not gonna lie, I got a little emotional there seeing what happened to his dad, because his dad, ultimately was just broken with, what happened to James's mom, and just really didn't know how to talk to James and use his emotions. But we saw as the incident happens to James, as he gets shot, and he lives now. He doesn't go to jail because it was self-defense. He can't walk, so they really bond. And then he unfortunately dies and has a heart attack. So I really thought that storyline was pretty touching and just so tragic, these characters, right? So we see James is now with Alyssa. They're going off together. This is just going back to the old crew. James then decides to pull over the hitchhiker, which we know, if you've seen the season, that's Bonnie. And we see how everything plays out. Bonnie and them, they go to a hotel. She kills the guy that takes advantage of her. She's, wounded, gets the wound stitched up. James and Alyssa leave her. They find her. We go to the diner. They try to kill her, and then for a moment, I thought that they really did kill James and Alyssa in episode 6, but we see how it all played out. They initially take her down. She goes to jail. Again, she confesses to everything. And let's talk about that final episode. Again, I didn't think that we needed a season 2. I was pretty happy with it. It's not as good as the first season. The first season was a tighter writing. I just love that we focused more on those characters, and I don't have a problem with Bonnie. I love the performance by Naomi. I believe her last name is Naomi Aki, if I'm not mistaken. She's gonna be in Star Wars, so I'm excited to see her there. But I just want to focus more on the emotional aspect of James and Alyssa. Yes, Alyssa is suffering from PTSD and James is suffering from this loss from his dad, but I really would have just loved to focus more on those characters. But at the end of the day, we got this injection of this new character, Bonnie, and I think that, yes, she was a tragic character. I don't think we necessarily supposed to root for her, because at the end of the day, she did try to kill a woman. If she did kill her, she did that. She was going to kill James and Alyssa. She killed the guy. Yes, it was kind of self-defense, an accident, how she killed that guy. But I don't think we're supposed to root for her, because she was a bad person. And yes, she was kind of, I'll say this, she was kind of influenced by Professor Clive. But at the end of the day, she's in jail now. But so I love how the season ended, though, because it was the first time in the 15 episodes of the show that James and Alyssa have a heart-to-heart. They have never really told each other. Yes, they've given each other hints of like how they feel at that moment, but not how they feel about just life in general. So I love that they sit down at the bench after James, spreads his ashes of where his dad and his mom met. But I love that they sit down, they confess to each other, they love each other, and she's going to need time to process the mental stuff she's going to take care of, but you assume they're going to live happily ever after. Or are they? Which leaves the door open for a season 3. Again, I didn't need a season 2. I'm happy with it, but I don't need a season 3. But if they give us one and they give us the quality of writing, the acting by James and Alyssa is phenomenal. Gives us some interesting storyline of how their life lives out after these 2 events from season 1 and 2. Then sure, give me a season 3, but I personally don't need it. But I enjoyed this season. I thought the writing was good. The emotional stuff was good. It wasn't as funny as some of the moments that we got in season 1, but it was more somber and more bleak because, again, these effects of what happened in season 1, it makes sense. But I still think season 1 is great, but that was just kind of lightning in a bottle, and it was hard to replicate that. But for the most part, they did a good job of bringing us a solid season of the end of the effing world. So that's my thoughts. I recommend you all check it out, especially if you're a fan of James and Alyssa and the writing and the dark comedy. This season 2 did a really good job. It didn't meet the needs of season 1, but it was a great sequel to a great season 1. So if you've seen the season, let me know in the comments what you thought of it. And if you would like to see a season 3, let me know in the comments. Like and share this video. Like I said, we're almost to 800 subscribers, so help us get over that hump and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Definitely keep an eye out for some more content coming pretty soon. We got episode 5 of Castle Rock. We got some reviews I'm seeing Last Christmas tonight, so keep an eye out for that. And then we got our reviews for the Apple TV Plus stuff on our channel now, and we'll have weekly reviews for C in the morning show, so keep an eye out for that as well. Thank you all for watching this review, and we'll see you in the next video.